kind. I've been very kind. I want to apologize for when I was really sinful on July 4th morning. I had only slept a few minutes. I had slept a few minutes, and something woke me up at 5 a.m. And it felt like it was doing all these horrors to my body. And I thought it was a demon. And it got me to sin really bad in a video. I made a really bad video, sinful video. Bad. It was the worst video I've ever made. And I apologize. So now I'm gonna lift weights. So I'm doing something with the energy of, the caffeine and having, the motivation and energy to do something with that kind of stuff. So I'm working at something so it's not like being angry or something. There's the table Teza put there. There's the table Teza put there. Hi. I gotta pee. Hi. I think this is gonna work. I'm using the energy that I have instead of getting angry to work out a bunch. Because the other day I got really angry in a video. It's the meanest I've been since 2014. It was bad. And I filmed the entire thing. Besides a little bit before I was mean to and started filming. It was awful. I only slept a few minutes and eaten a bunch of heavy food. Looked like shit anyway. Not that great. And I was so mean. It was awful. Something woke me up at 5 a.m. July 4th morning like I was some like military warrior of bad. It was so awful. It's the meanest I've been since 2014. And I'm not going to do that again. I'm never going to do that again. This is a good time to take a bathroom break. I gotta use the bathroom. That table sucked. That was awful. So I was really mean on the morning of July 4th at 5 a.m. I had only slept a few minutes and I made a video. It was really bad. It's the meanest I've been since 2014. I don't know what happened. I think there's a demon out here because it was bothering me for days. Unimaginable horrors done to my body, and I thought I was about to die from it. And then I had to wake up a few minutes after I fell asleep on July 4th morning, 5 a.m. And that's why I was so mean in the video. I finally was mean back. It was like a demon sin because I had acted righteous on Facebook and kind and good. And there's some atheist, agnostic person who has demons trapping them into the wrongful way of life. who I tried to be righteous and good and say how things really are, and maybe I acted too confident about myself or who knows what, and they, you know, their meanness, they're caught up in the demonic ways and stuff, I think sent a demon here, and it got me to sin really bad. It was like attacking me in horrific ways for a few days, and then finally got me to sin really bad, and that was like enough for it to say, yep, who's more righteous now, you know, in their own mean way. And then there was no more of it again. It was awful. And for a week or two before that, and plus I had to carry that fucking thing right there, which Teza put there to prove that doing work and regular things is the way to go, and working out with weights does not help you or make you stronger. That's what she wanted to prove, because my friend Andrew, my cousin, my nephew Andrew is super athletic. He's a model. He looks really amazing. He's only 17 years old, and he taught himself how to do all that stuff at a young age. But he got it from his mom because she was like a model when she was young. But he works at it really hard. And he was spent, as they say. When you work out really, really hard, you do it to exhaustion. You do it to failure, which I haven't been able to say for some other reason. But he couldn't do, he could barely walk. He had worked out so much. And then she asked him to carry some heavy thing. He couldn't do it, or blow in something, blow up an inner tube. She wanted to prove that the ways of carrying things like that are more helpful than working out, actually. So it's been that way. It was worse in the 1970s, 80s. The only people that actually did it were like Arnold Schwarzenegger, a few people. Before then, like, you know, there was, you know, the fitness people who work out with weights. It was something that they looked down on and pretended that it made people fatter and shit. And people are still thinking that those ways nowadays. It's stupid. It doesn't matter that much. But just carrying that table when I had to piss almost destroyed, almost ruined everything that I was about to do. It like took all my energy away or something almost. Feels like you can barely do anything. You just like carry that table there. You can almost just stand here and barely move an inch. And that's the mental things that, you know, it's not mental. That's what they like to say. An attack on the mind, an attack on the body. And their sinful, stupid ass ways they've always done without ever having to work at their health. Just eat whatever the fuck they feel, kind of diet here and there, do whatever the fuck they feel, and live longer than other people because they stressed them out so much, even though people like me were working hard at their health. And they stressed them out so much and caused difficulty in their lives by causing these stressful situations that to prove their stupid ass bullshit ways were the best. So if people like me actually were more accepted in society, which it has become more so than at any other time in the history of modern America, I guess, in modern American history, at least, you know, people are working out with weights more than ever. It's more common, and they know that those ways strengthen you more. And just saying that, I felt like some attack through my body or something. Somebody got so angry and pissed because they don't want to fucking work at it, and they want to make a bunch of money instead, and that's what they made their lives about. I don't know why. And then they expect to have me suffering, carrying them all with my love, the love of God and Jesus, carrying them all so that they don't, so, you know, so we get along and, you know, are okay without them trying to kill me in horrific ways, which would be some other random ass person sending a demon here or some shit, or who knows what the fuck it would be, because my loved ones wouldn't want to kill me. But just carrying that fucking table made it like I had tons of energy. I was going to work out with weights, do amazing stuff, and then just carrying that table made it almost like, you know, it's like, that's why people might go to marijuana. You know, super helps their health. It helps their health in amazing ways. Marijuana helps the physical health in amazing ways, but not for people who sit there and, you know, and it affects people's minds differently. some people, it makes them lazy and eat potato chips. It's just how it is. So it doesn't always help the physical health, but it's been proven as a physical healer. It's been proven as a physical healer for the health. And it can be dangerous. It's much more dangerous than caffeine. Maybe more dangerous than alcohol. Maybe not. And for some people, it can give them superhuman strength and make the physical body healthier than they'd ever imagined. But they're going to have to be able to know how it affects their mind. And I don't really care about doing marijuana. I don't do it. Something that I don't really care about that much. So it could be a bad for someone drug or good for someone, and it affects people differently. And I don't really care. But if I had it right now, I think it would help my physical body in amazing ways. And any little pains, back pain, anything like that would go away. And it's not a number. It's not a fucking number. It actually gets rid of the back pain and makes you more highly attuned, for some people, not all people, more highly attuned to your motor skills to where you can jump off this couch into the air this high, maybe, and then run out up that mountain in a few seconds or something, literally 20 seconds. And, do superhuman things and so in tune with your motor skills. It's an amazing thing for some people, marijuana. But other people, they sit there and eat potato chips, have dark sunken in eyes, and it makes them look like shit, feel like shit. And it's not. I know. And so it affects people differently. And the people who it may help their physical health, it may not do that great for their mental health, but it may. And it's kind of unpredictable, and better not to do it at all. So, but I don't care that much about it one way or another. I don't have much of an opinion on it because those things may be different, but I think it can help the physical health in some instances, but I don't know, it was like almost had nowhere else to turn. I was barely able to move an inch, and I thought, if I had marijuana, I'd make the small amount of pain that I got from carrying that table when I had to piss too, when I had to piss with my stomach filled up with pee, or whatever, the bladder filled up with pee, made me feel weak all of a sudden, like you can't even do the exercise. But that was because I probably got the energy to begin with, because somehow I was happy about Teza coming here. So I thought, after I've already fasted all day, I haven't eaten anything all day, I did hundreds, maybe 200 push-ups. Didn't do that much of a workout, but I did do the most push-ups in one set that I've done since 2015, but not really. It's just because I did it a little differently. After I did a push-up, I held it until my muscles had a chance to, and body had a chance to recuperate a few seconds while I was holding the thing. But I don't, there's people who, this almost angers me. Why would it be appropriate for me to pretend that when people inhale marijuana, they hold a little breath, and hold it in and deprive themselves of air? How the fuck is that going to help them get superhumanly stronger and, more amazing in nature than ever, when they're holding in little amounts of breath and depriving themselves of oxygen to save a few pennies of the cost of the marijuana or some shit like that? That's how I feel about that. But it's appropriate to act that way in a little small way, like some little fucking failure who smokes marijuana and does little petty things that are almost, they're not against the law. 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 They're not, however you want to look at that, it's not against the law. So, I don't want to be a part of that anyway, but I better calm down. You know, I don't want to be some little person who like barely has money and does little stupid ass things like smoke marijuana, might fornicate a little bit here and there, and then repent and suffer and want to die and feel so sad for a year or two, may fornicate a little bit, and then they grow old and they just die, you know, because they're mostly godly and they get into heaven, but their life sucks and it's like a little almost poverty level existence of shit. You might as well be fucking dead than do that. If I have to do that again, go down to that level and actually accept that it's something I'm aware of that I don't want to be a part of, and I don't want that to be my life. You know, I just don't want that to be me. I'm aware of what that is. I'm aware that I don't have to do that. And if that's what being in this neighborhood, Slonovich neighborhood, you know, if that's what being this neighborhood is, I don't know. That's not the kind of person I want to be. Because I've gotten the thought about that before. You may get in a little trouble for stealing somebody's weed. That's what it'll be to be back in Virginia by yourself. Little life of here and there, fornicate till you're an old person, suffer mostly, kind of have okay times that feel good, still sinning by fornicating here and there, which I don't want to do if I know that's wrong. And you know, the stupid ass little things like smoking weed, and then another appropriate thing for me, which is not appropriate, they want me to pretend I'm holding in a little breath. Who the fuck would do that to the breath? Who the fuck would intentionally deprive themselves of air? Just breathe the thing in as big as you can, blow it out, get more of it, and get stronger and more, you know, it's just ridiculous. And I can't even say more invincible in nature because that's wrong. Because we're flawed, our human bodies are flawed. I've had to accept that and actually put that forth as the thing I was doing. How awful my life has felt. Because I know in the Bible we're flawed. You can't be perfect. You can't aspire to working at that as your main thing that you want to do, because it's never going to be perfect. And these older people, well, Al has maybe, you know, not try to make everything about my selfish ego, I guess, in some ways, but he's okay. Barely walk after carrying that table. Barely walk after carrying that table. I was gonna do these huge weights. Maybe just gotta lay down. There's a spider. This couch was all ready with nothing gross on it. And then there's a spider. An almond. Now I gotta pee again. I'm just gonna sit here and who cares if I have to pee, because I don't want to hurt my body. I lost all the energy. I'm not lost. I'm not lost. I have Jesus. I have Jesus. You know, this neighborhood is not like some little weed smoking person who does little things like might get a fine for stealing somebody's weed. Never amount to much. That's not what this neighborhood is. Even the poorest person on this street, her father bought her house for $90,000 cash like 15 or 20 years ago, and it's gone up in value. So her father bought her that house for $90,000 cash, and you know, she owns her own home. So it's not that bad. but it's not rich or something. And she had to have her power turned off because she couldn't afford the bill. And she'd cut her own firewood. She'd do her own firewood and keep the house warm herself without the electricity. And she got water from the streams nearby and boiled it on the stove so she could, then when it cooled down, she could have drinking water. And even though she didn't feel like working because she worked at a job, and she's really nice. She worked around these other people. She worked around these other people. She really had a job where she was actually getting paid money, and they made fun of her a little bit at one of the jobs she was working at as something like, food service industry. And she just stayed inside. She got sad, and so she stayed inside and didn't want to work anymore because she didn't know how to even go out there anymore after how they made fun of her. And then she got confident again, and she started going out every day and can pay for her gas and all the stuff she needs. And she's a woman, and she lives in this neighborhood somewhere, and she has to do it all on her own. And in the Bible, it says a woman doesn't have to work, I think. Unless you can understand what it really means more than I understand what it means. But they say that a woman has to honor her parents or her husband. So if her parents or her husband really want the help of her working too, then it might be appropriate to work. So her parents maybe wanted her to work. Or in some instances, it's not a perfect world. It's sinful here. A woman may have to work so she's not on the street because of some awful sinful stuff that happened. But I don't want that. I don't want to be with that person. That's a random person I'll never have sex with. I'm not going to give up and start fornicating. I don't want to, and I don't care. I've had that pretty good where I don't do it. I don't do it at all. I haven't done it for many years. I've been celibate for many years now. And I don't have a desire to do it, but I have a strong sexual desire. Pretty much every day I think about it, but I just try to picture that it's with my wife, whoever that's supposed to be. And it's not easy because I try to not lust after other women. And I looked at something on the computer and I felt bad about it. And then I had to feel bad that I looked at anything. But then that's been a problem. That's been a problem, like not having a real wife where it's normal to do stuff. Do stuff. The things that people... I haven't done anything like that in many, well, I don't want to say how many years, but since 2012, the beginning of 2012, it's been 10 years. Since the beginning of 2012, it's been a little more than 10 years, every day of 10 years that I had to suffer alone without a wife to hold and hug. 10 years that I had to not want to be alone. That I hope to be with a wife again. I don't like living alone like other people get you. I don't want to ever get used to it. I'll never get used to it, and I'd rather die. That is how I really, really feel about it. And I've had to live that way for 10 years. Every day of 10 years and a little more than 10 years because I messed up here and there. Wasn't really worth it to mess up one time and then spend 3 years alone after that. How much fun would you get out of that? And then have to repent for what I did because it was wrong. It's just... I'd rather be with my wife and kids, but I don't know if I don't know what's ever gonna... It's gotten so... I don't know what I'll be happy about or look forward to or how good it's going to be. Like my Uncle Richard, I don't know. I don't want to be a single person. I want to be married to a wife. And preferably, I think that's supposed to be Danica. But if it's not Danica, I think God may not want me to be with another wife. And if he doesn't, I don't want to live. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to live. It has sucked. And I've had to live that way for 10 years, every day of 10 years. But I did, you know, unless there's something I don't see, that there's something like everything be okay again. Unless there's something I'm not understanding. You know, I can't go out there and fornicate with a random person. You can't make someone be your wife. You can't make someone be your wife, dad and mom. You can't make someone be your wife who God did not choose as your wife. That will still be fornication and adultery. You just chose someone to fornicate with and commit adultery with again and again and again. If you chose the wrong person and God didn't choose that woman for you or that man, if you're a woman, and there are no other exceptions, the rest is all fornication and adultery. If you think that there's a woman and a woman supposed to be married, that's fornication, that's adultery. If you think a man and a man are supposed to be married, that's fornication and adultery. A woman and a woman, I think, is not as sinful as a man and a man. Because, but I think I don't know. I don't know, but if you read the Bible, you can tell. But some people who had gay sex one time, maybe they messed up a couple other times or something, and then they stop, and they don't make a practice out of it. When someone practices homosexuality, like they continue to do it, and they make a practice of it, their place will be in the lake of fire. That's what the Bible says. It doesn't say gay people are going to burn in hell. If they messed up once, they messed up maybe more than once, and they don't do it again, and they don't make a practice of it. From what I've read in the Bible, it says there's a chance they can make it to heaven. They may make it to heaven. But you're not supposed to make a practice out of it. And you're not supposed to make a practice out of fornication. And I can't judge if someone was married by God or not unless I have a feeling, God did not bring those people together. But I don't know. But I may or not, I don't know. And when someone chooses to get remarried again, but they got divorced for the wrong reasons, and God still has them together with their first wife, and mentally they think about them almost every day, and they know they're still at one flesh, and those people are really together. They should stay together. They should be together in real life. No divorce document that some man signed is that's not a real divorce. They're still married when they think about one another every day, and they look the same oftentimes, and God still has them together. They're not supposed to marry some random person and fornicate with them. That's bad. And that's not a real marriage. And when they think, when they're physically in two different places, but they can't stop thinking about one another all the time, so much so that they have to get their kids to be the person who goes between each one and makes them feel like they're still a family, then those two people are still married. I don't know. Unless I don't know, because some people are so far gone, they've fornicated so many times with different people, they've gotten remarried. This person has gotten remarried, and maybe they're not the same flesh anymore, and I thought they were, but they're. I, the Bible, when you really read and understand what the New Testament and the Bible says, instead of just preaching it, but when you really read what it says, it tells you, the more you understand what it really says, you can see if you're divorced or not, but you can better see if you're divorced or not, or if just some man signed a divorce document. For those people who are divorced, unless you're married already, then stay married. Don't try to make it worse. Don't try to find another woman to bring in, you know? That's not what God wants. For those men who think, well, the Old Testament, they had many wives. No, I no. So I told someone who thought that, who was married, I said, no, that's wrong. And it helped them stay together. And I try to help others stay together who are a family. I don't know if I get any benefit out of it or not, or feel like, oh yeah, I'm just have them. Then they turn around and call me a dude, like I'm a random dude. I don't like being called a dude. Danica's still alive, and my kids are still there. You know, Al's wife died. He doesn't mind being called a dude, the lone dude who's like in a western. You know, I don't like being called a dude. I want to be married with my kids. But some people like being called a dude. I can't imagine why. I never want that. But I've had to suffer through having to live almost like that. But still, I wrote to Danica every day or talked to her every day for 22 years, which the past couple years or so may not be appropriate, or it may, I don't know. But I think I was determined. I started getting the feeling 2 years ago, move on. Move on. Look how many years have gone by you holding out for her or whatever. But I can't tell that to a new wife, and who knows what she'd put me through. If she knew that I waited years for Danica, like 10 years or however much, she might try to make me wait 10 years for her, which I'm not going to be able to do again. It might kill me. So I can't do that again. Because this already has been difficult. But I think I'm supposed to be with Danica because I keep writing her every day pretty much. I miss like her and the kids, like being in the house. I've had to live that way without them, even though I miss them and love them, for about 10 years. But you know, I felt like some Indian guy one time, or I don't know what religion he was, at the airport talking to his friend like he knew what was best. You know, you might, like, it looked like he was acting like he was talking to me, even though he was talking to his friend, because I was all alone and leaving. I had to leave Texas to go home. It was like getting too expensive, and I got the feeling like he was saying, well, you know, it's not that great of a life, but maybe there's kind of something that you could do. But it's not that great. But who cares? Like, he didn't care about me at all and was acting like the thing that I did messed up and was wrong. But he got to be with his wife or something. I don't know. But I don't know what it's like for people like who get remarried many times. I don't understand that. Like, it may be possible that it's okay for them to get into heaven, but I don't really understand how they could do that and feel okay. How they could be so negative and move on from their first wife who God brought them together with. How they could go against that so much. But in some ways, I started to see that about Danica. from the ways that she had sinned. But I don't know if I'm supposed to move on or not, because now I told it in a video, and it might be like the people who watched it trying to get me to think move on or what. So I don't even know if that's real or not, if somebody really told me to move on or what. So I don't know what is the righteous good thing. I don't know what's good, but it felt like that was good. I just got the thought move on. It felt like that was the right thing to do, but I don't know. And then it felt like some anxiety doing something to my ass, like I'm gay for not moving on. And then that turned into these horrors the other day, and other horrors done to my body until I woke up. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. on July 4th after only sleeping a few minutes, and I was so mean. I mean, unimaginable horrors like that are done down in hell and can't be done on earth was like visualized done to my body in various places. And it had been going on for days. And then I finally was really, really mean, and it was awful. And I don't know how I'd find, like, I don't know how I'd find someone who I'm okay to be with again. And I look pretty good. Like, it'd be a shame to throw my body away because it's pretty healthy. I'm still pretty good. I messed up the other day, but that was the worst since 2014. Before that, I had never been that mean my entire life. It was pretty bad, but in 2014, I made a habit out of some bad sin for about 3 months every day. It was bad. And then I made up for it. I had to suffer like Jesus. I had to suffer like Jesus across the entire nation so nothing bad happened to the people that I tried to, and then everything was okay again. Like now it's like something trying to annoy me like on my own ass. Like some anxiety of something trying to annoy me on my own ass. I don't know what it is. Somebody who thought that I used to be a homophobe from how I was, who's watching, or the thought of them in my thoughts, which that was no longer a problem ever again. I could act like pooted, gay, and it wouldn't do anything to me. I was finally had no more homophobia. But then somebody came back to try to see, I don't know. And then I acted like I was massacring them all on July 4th, 5 a.m. Whoever the fuck was doing it to me, because it turned into, I can't even say how bad. The horrors that are only seen in hell, like visualized done to my body for hours a day for many days until I had only slept a few minutes and was woken up on July 4th morning at 5 a.m. like a military, like, go to war or something, or you'll be dead for standing up for good old July 4th. It was awful. It was awful. I don't know what to say about it. But for those people who smoke marijuana, let me take a little breath and hold it in for a long time without breathing. Shit, don't do that. I think that that would hurt your breathing. I think that that might hurt your breathing. I'd suggest breathing it in all the way and then breathing it out. Like as big as you can, not worrying about saving like 40 cents that one time you did it or something. I don't. But I don't do marijuana. I don't do marijuana. It was like something telling me to act like that was me. It scared me because it was like I'd get something good out of it. I don't know what. Wasn't even interested in marijuana at all, but got the feeling from like a good spirit or angel or something, act like that and you'll be okay from, or not be okay, but I got the feeling it was something good, like with my conscience to act that way and, and then take a breath like that. Oh shit, it frightened me because I don't want to have something wrong with my breathing. I don't want to have something wrong with my breathing. But I had to do it anyway, and it maybe was better. I don't know why I had to do that. But then I started thinking, this worried me. I don't want to have a breathing problem from it. So I don't know if that way works or not for the best health. It's kind of like the way of being righteous enough to get into heaven in a kind of small way that doesn't spend much money, and I was supposed to kind of be that way, but I became too aware of, I think maybe it's wrong for me now, but I don't know. But at one time I thought, that's not how I want to live. I don't want to go on living like a small tortured, like not tortured, but like it's just not me. It's not how my parents were in my family. It's not how my grandparents were. It's not how my parents are. My parents are still alive and well. I think they're well. Yeah, they're pretty good. I think. I think they're good. Kind, meaning kind to others, the Bible says. But my dad pretends that, they have their own ways of sin. They were never like that bad that I was ever aware of. I think I got the worst sin that I did maybe from the people in Texas, or maybe somehow the devil tricked me on my own to do it. The worst sin that I had ever done. It wasn't my dad that I know of. But when he was, now just the past few weeks, I just realized my dad, like back in the day, he was powerful. He was like big and powerful. Back in the day, he hasn't acted that way for 10 years or 15 years or something. But when he stood with one foot, it was like the power of 600 pounds or 1,000 pounds. And I sometimes I weighed more than him, but we'd be in a house and he'd be testing the floor to see how it was, and I could stand on it really heavy. I'd stand on the floor really heavy. All I had, it wouldn't move at all. And then he'd walk to the same place and go like this, like with one foot, and push down on it, and the entire thing would go down. He was like really powerful. And I didn't realize I got that a little bit from him, because it had been so many years since I thought he was that way, unless he somehow I got it and he stopped doing it. And then now it's like, I don't know who. I don't know. But he was powerful. He was like powerful on earth. I don't know how he did it when I weighed about the same as him, or I said, I had gotten a little chubbier when I was younger and weighed a little bit more than him. But when he stood with one foot, it made the entire room go down. It was like, what the heck? Because I tried with all I had to go like this, and it didn't do anything. And then one time he told me the bigger that he made sure to really have a, like, this was his sit down talk with me, and it was only a couple sentences long, or a sentence long. And he said he wanted to make sure that I knew this, because I think I started acting like I was being more powerful or something like that, or having more money or something that I was like actually doing more. And he said he wanted to say to me, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. he told me the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I was like, I didn't know what to think about that. I don't know. I might try to. I was gonna do the weights. I'm gonna take a break and use the bathroom. If so, this is a good time to use the bathroom or do something different, I'll be back and use the bathroom or stay or whatever and chat or something. Okay. Haircut. Yeah. When it's your hair, it's a cut. Haircut. That means you have to cut it. That's the only thing you're allowed to call the hair in your head. Haircut. Have to cut it. The anxiety that you figure out as you get older, you're like, that's what those things meant. Oops. This feels better. Woo. Oh shit. You gotta warm up with lighter. Oops. You gotta warm up with lighter so you don't hurt the joints or something. Kind of, if those are the people you have in your life, and that's the ways that, I don't know. I think that's how you're always supposed to do it. You can't just jump into the heaviest ones unless you're in your 20s. When I was in my 20s, I could jump into the heaviest ones. But you want to warm up. Even then, I think sometimes I would get a little bit injured if I did that. But you want to put like lighter on to start out with, whatever it is. Because you have to, don't jump into the stuff it could cause injury. And then you don't want to do it too dangerous. And make sure this thing's not gonna, that still wouldn't do anything that bad. That still wouldn't do anything that bad. This is an okay bench. I've had this bench for like, I've had this bench since, I've had this stupid bench, this $70 bench. Not this Smith machine. The Smith machine was like $700. I've had all this since like, and the weights are more. I've had this since like 2010, I think. The Smith machine was so I didn't need a spotter. I could lift when I felt like it. Not rely on someone else to have to do something, which is pretty good. How's this doing this? Well, this is not that heavy right now. Ooh. Hey. This is pretty light for me. When I was in college, well, I didn't work out as big. I was pretty normal, I guess, but I worked out then too. That's what I worked out with in college. And the other small kid, who was my roommate, worked out with a 35 on one side. That was like the most we could do. I was like, I could do a 45 on one side and a 45 on the other side when I was in college. Maybe if I was feeling really strong, I'd put 10 pounds more on either side. Or something. But when I was in high school, by my senior year, I was stronger. I was maybe stronger, but I can never do the 2 45s on each side until I was in my mid to late 20s. But my son Rowan's stronger than I was. He's about as strong as I was when he's stronger than I was in high school. I couldn't lift the 2 45s next to one another. I think even when I was in my 30s, maybe? I don't know. But my friend Nathan, one of the skateboarders, he can lift as heavy as I can now when he was like 19 or 18. The skateboarders pushed me out of their group a little bit. They were the ones who weren't as nice to me. And they were like the ones who were like, they were skateboarders, not the popular kids. But they're the ones who are like, you don't look as cool, you don't look as good, your stomach has a little too much fat on it. They're into their appearance a bunch. And Nathan, my friend Nathan, got really popular, put like a brand new mini ramp in his backyard and had pros skating it, and like 100 or 200 people sometimes at his house, like a real skateboard demo. He got the pros when they came into town to skate his ramp. Gershon, Mosley, or some famous people or something. And he became the leader of the pack, most popular one. And I became like nerdier. But he still got along with me at Virginia Tech. We went to Virginia Tech together. And then he went to Los Angeles and became very successful, but he's one of my best friends. he's not really in Los Angeles. He's in a little bit different place in California, but he has a family and he's good. He still gets along with my friends who are into shooting guns and stuff. You know what a fear of mine is? I'll just tell the truth. Have you ever, this is not that bad of a fear, but it's kind of a fear. Have you ever seen, it's not much of a fear, you know, because I'm not going to do it. But have you ever seen that older looking, never mind, it's not that much of a fear, Jocko, big military Navy SEAL with a shaved head, works every day to stuff, nothing cool about him. Jocko somebody, he's like some person you see on YouTube here and there, Jocko somebody, he's got a shaved head, he's like 54, in his 50s, and it was like something good told me to relate to him and see what that would be like, because in some ways I was a little bit like him, and it made me feel bad because his face looked kind of old, and he was still working at those things all the time, like this stuff that he had to work at all the time, but he had a shaved head and he was like had to stand up for the military stuff. And you know, if I think I ever looked like him, even if my hair fell out, I'd put a wig on like Andy Warhol. I'd put a wig on like Andy Warhol and put makeup on. I don't want to look like that person. I don't care if I was old or whatever. I want to be like myself. You know, Al was a little older, you know, and if my dad thinks I'm a faggot, I don't care. Whatever. It's not me to be like that Jocko guy. And I'm not really that Andy Warhol type either, but, you know, it just made me feel bad to have like a shaved head and older, and almost nothing cool about him. He could play guitar, but, you know, I'd really like to hear what he was playing and see, you know, how well did he actually play guitar, you know, because I don't think he'd be that good at it. You know, I don't think he'd be good at much artistic or creative, but I don't know. And I can't judge him at all because I was supposed to relate to him in some way. It was like my conscience saying, give the guy a chance, and he suffers too. He might have depression or something, and he's constantly, he has to work. You know, he wakes up, starts working, and that's what he has to do with his life. And it's like, you know, and he already started getting older, and it just, you know, if I have to look like that, I'll put blue eyeliner on, and I don't care. I'll put, even if they make my hair fall out or something, I'll put a long hair wig on. I don't want to be like that guy. I don't want to be like that guy. Even though I was fucking fat or something, who cares? If it wasn't hurting my health, but, you know, there are worse things than being like that guy. But I was supposed to relate to him and how he had to work so hard, and that's like all he had did, and it was so boring. He did the same things again and again, and that's something I can relate to about the sadness of him. But you know, that he had to suffer through. Which, you know, I don't know what happiness or enjoyment he gets, but you know, from having to work so much relentlessly at things, or just having to kind of do things like that, work or whatever you call it. Like right now, I'm not working, but I'm filming a video of it to try to get more views, to finally not have like, you know, not have to suffer at something that I really don't feel like doing that would make me want to kill myself. But I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to relate to that guy in some way, but I never want to be that way. The guy with the shaved head, older neck, and older stuff on his face. You know, I'd do a mini lift or something. They could lipo out that stuff and make it look a little better. I'd put an Andy Warhol wig. I don't give a fuck. You know, I don't want to be like that guy. No, I don't know, but I'd never have to do that shit to my neck. I got my mom's neck. I got my mom's neck. She has a good neck. My dad has a good neck too. He's just more like the military, how they age a little differently. I think they always have the young guys who are doing the most physical activity, or like 18 or 20 or something. You know, but I don't know. It's been something that hasn't been me, but they made me do it anyway. They made me do it anyway. They made me have the same mentality and have to do it. It's a bummer. I don't. It's not a bummer, but I'd almost rather be dead or a bum. I can't be a bum because I work too hard on stuff. Like even right now, when I'm not working, I'm doing something. But I don't know. I don't always work that hard. I learned from Al to finally not work as hard, and that was something beautiful and amazing that I deserved for having to, since I was 12 years old, almost all day at unrest, while everyone else got to feel better. And so that's something amazing I got from Al, is to finally not have to do things all the time, like constantly at unrest. But it was okay. It was a strong work ethic that I got from my parents. But he made me, in his own way, he made me see it's not worth it if you keep working more, and then you've been at it 14 hours that day, and then you have to go another 8 hours, and you're like turned into like hell rising, and other people are gonna die and shit, so you can keep doing it so it doesn't kill you to have to work that hard. That's bad. That's bad, because that's a reality for how some people do. They work so hard at their goals, and that's how it becomes work of unrighteousness, which leads to hell. That leads to hell for all eternity. That's work of unrighteousness. So, but the problem was that Al thought when I worked hard at goals that I enjoyed and wanted to do, like my parents worked hard, they never worked that hard. They never worked at relentlessly as, I think I don't know, but they made me feel like it was never enough, but they never worked at it to be unrighteousness. My parents didn't do it, but my dad had a little problem with working too hard. But you can be kind about it and good about it and still work hard, and not work as hard if it's ever going to hurt anyone. You just stop if it's ever going to hurt anyone else. Or I guess if it hurts yourself, you're not supposed to do it either. And then, see, like, but Al helped me in a really good way, but now it's kind of inappropriate for him to be here, because he kind of didn't understand, but maybe he is supposed to be here. I don't know. But for a while he wasn't supposed to be here because we're just friends. And so I don't know, but maybe he can come back somehow. I don't know. but we'd get in little stupid arguments and stuff, but it wasn't that bad. It was never that bad towards one another, I think. And if it ever started getting that bad, he had to be out of here. Or he left on his own if he thought I was going through some awful, difficult thing. He didn't want to have to do it too. And he was like, and he would just leave. Or I'd have to tell him to leave. But now he might be supposed to come back. Maybe he's supposed to come back. Because I worried about him in the woods or something. I don't know if he's going to die. But I told him, get out of there. It wasn't appropriate for him to stay here this time. So I said, just get out of the woods so you don't die there. I thought the other day, I thought something bad was going to happen. So I don't know now how it is, but I don't know. I feel so weak. I feel so weak. It's funny, I felt happy and healthy and okay again when I went to these weights I was used to doing. That has something to do with Taza, who was here the other day. It's like you are like the people closest to you or whatever. It's like I want to keep doing those goals, those things I wanted to set out to intend that I wanted to do. But it's hard to give up on the things that you live for, which I don't give up on because I never lived for those things. But I lived for God and Jesus, and I was doing God's work all along, and I didn't really I didn't understand, but I tried to. You know, it wasn't. I don't know. Okay. Wonder where I go. To Los Angeles, to here. What do I do? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's pretty scary. It's made me want to die hundreds of times just not knowing what's going to happen in the future. I know that's something that's scary, that can be scary. But I don't want the glory for that shit. Who would want to die hundreds of times? That's no example to set. That's the wrong mess up way. That's something I want my kids to not have to go through. Why I want to show them God and Jesus. I try to tell them about it every chance I get so they don't make mistakes that'll hurt them or worse, but they're pretty good. But I'd like a wife, of course. I have to be a good father too. I don't. Like, I'm not going to try to do the biggest weight I can. I was happy. I thought I'll do the 340 pounds or more, maybe more. I thought the other day, but I couldn't do it. I wasn't going to do it at all today. So instead, I had a bunch of energy and I did 90. I did 90 push-ups in one set, and that's in a video before this. But I've been doing push-ups instead of bench press for a while now, so it's good to do this every once in a while. But if something else is more important, then you can. If it ever means somebody's going to get hurt or something, don't worry about it. But this is something I can work at. And that's the thing that, like, sometimes Al was like, he didn't want me to do that. It's not hurting anyone. And I have a strong work ethic in my family, honoring my parents, and her parents worked hard, and it's just, it wasn't hurting anyone. Feels wrong to stand up for my body, look at its best, so I had to pretend and not put any effort into holding myself, carrying myself, looking as good. And then somebody turned into acting like it's putting a penis forth. What the fuck? So stupid. I'm just gonna do my stupid weights and pretend that I have really long hair that looks beautiful and I finally get to have long hair. No. So I don't have to feel like that guy with the shaved head who's like 58 looking. And 20 pounds of fat too much on him, even though he lifts a bunch of weights. And military is where his beliefs are. He doesn't play the guitar that great from the few seconds I heard of it, I'm pretty sure. You know, it looks like he's playing good guitar, but not really. He didn't care about it that much to get really good at it. And I don't know. But he's making videos. He's really making videos. They look professional. He has a podcast and all that stuff. Jocko, whatever his name is. And I'm supposed to relate to him on something, his hard work ethic. But, you know, I don't want to be that way. You know, maybe if I can meet him and say he needs more love in his life. He's worked too hard and maybe been a little sinful, and it's caused, I think he might have depression, but I don't know. But he might try to kill me if I say that, because he didn't tell me about it. I don't know what the person's like. But I was supposed to relate to him for some reason. I don't understand that much. But he actually knows how to play guitar and took the time. And he was in the middle, and he was like a Navy SEAL. That must be kind of unlikely. But playing guitar is very common. There are probably billions of people on earth who know how to play guitar. Billions. Probably. Or 800 million. There's probably 800 million people on earth who play guitar. That's pretty common. The likelihood of making it that alone. If you give it your all, I think maybe for somebody they could do it or something. I don't know. But boring. Jocko, whatever his name is, waits. Got to work again. 12 hours in today. Boring work. I can barely move to put the weight on. I've been fasting all day, and I did some workouts before. I have almost I have nutrients. I have nutrients. I haven't had any food, and I took all these craps because yesterday was the first day I ate whatever I felt like all day. It was the first day in a few months that I ate whatever I felt like, because I've lost 30 pounds. I've lost 30 pounds because there's this awful things, and so, but no, I don't know. But the things I've had to think about to be able to keep not being so fat that I was worried I'd die or some shit. And maybe I wasn't doing it right, I don't know. But that went away. The ghost crap went away. The horrors of hell shit that randomly were coming on really strong until I was really fucking mean, and then that like appeased whoever the atheist was who sent the demon here, I think is what that was for me. Writing on Facebook all this really kind, beautiful, godly Jesus-like stuff that I think somehow I got to take the credit and glory for without meaning to take that much glory for it. So some atheist got pissed off and wanted to prove that I was no better than that person, and then I sinned really bad, and that was enough. And then I think there was a demon or something, and it went away. But I messed up, and I think it may have killed me if I didn't act that mean. And it was like they tried to corrupt my soul a little bit, but not really corrupt my soul. They got me to sin more. It wasn't enough to corrupt my soul. It's never been bad enough to corrupt my soul. Thank God. Thank God none of those people have been bad enough to corrupt my soul. And they haven't killed me either. Somehow they haven't killed me. They haven't hurt my body permanently in any way. But I've gotten, past year has felt like shit. But sometimes I feel amazing. I was running, and sometimes I feel okay. I'm Jocko. Anyway, I'm that Jocko guy. I was in. I was a Navy SEAL. I can play guitar a little bit. This Jocko. Jocko. I don't. I don't. No. I don't, no. Jocko. Yeah, this is Jocko getting to lift weights today, work on my podcast. Yeah, and yeah, you know, go see my son, and that's actually something really good. But I broke up with his mom. Oh man, no, no, no. It's pretty good. I have a good life. You know, I guess I'm happy with it or whatever. But I miss my kids and my wife. I miss my wife and my kids. Without that, I might as well die. I think maybe I've come pretty close to dying without that happening or something different happening or something. I don't know. I don't want to get stuck in this. I don't believe that someone could become a ghost stuck in the same shit and unless they sinned really bad. Like that guy, Al thought some guy turned into a ghost when he killed himself, and he was an EMT, and Al was an EMT, and he could see the guy sitting on some other couch or something that killed himself. That man who killed himself was sinful, really bad. Because Al told me about that guy a little bit more, and he told me about what other people said about the guy who killed himself, and then Al could see his ghost, and all the EMTs could see his ghost after he blew his brains out. Wherever he was sitting somewhere else. That's not here. And he was mean and sinful. So I know that's not me. I know that can't be me as far as I think. But I don't really know at all because there's a real spirit realm. I don't want to kill myself and end up in some other kind of stuck thing or whatever stuck means. That's another thing people worry about, being stuck. That's a common worry of people. They don't want to be stuck in the same stupid feeling of bad. Unless it feels good sometimes because it does. Well, I don't know. But it sucks. I don't like stuck. Who would want to be stuck? And we're not stuck. God has us go through different things, whether or not we realize it. But if you're not getting anywhere for too long, I think God says, okay, he, there, that person's gonna go to heaven. It's time to go to heaven. Or God may randomly take someone who's in their prime and living it up, and I don't know when God takes people, but God doesn't take their life. The thing that really kills their life is the devil. The devil caused all the sin that hurts all people and causes them to die. The wrath of God was the Old Testament. The New Testament shows a kind, all loving God that would never hurt anyone. And the lake of fire, the sin and all the wicked people who have made a habit of sin, all that has to be burned up and destroyed forever, which God is so good, he wouldn't make those people suffer. They might not even have to, but their suffering may go on for all eternity as their smoke rises up into the heavens. But the sin can't infect heaven with the bad. It'll never get into heaven. It's not allowed in heaven. No sin at all in heaven because it's so beautiful. Heaven is so beautiful that it's infinitely beautiful. And all the truth is really in the Bible. Not me trying to flex my arm and look cool, no matter what I look like, no matter how old my face looks. It has not been easy. I don't always look like the good looking John Birmingham that people think that, I got to feel like. But I'm gonna do some weightlifting thing. This was to get my midsection looking cool originally, when I didn't have to worry about health, but it helps your health too. And maybe, you know, sometimes, I don't know, but I didn't want it to hurt me, so I had to do it. Well, people have different ways of doing things that I don't see how people would not like doing it, because it's work, but then you feel way more amazing. It like gives you this when you do the strength training right, like when you really work at it, when you're done doing it, it's like sometimes you get these endorphins. It feels amazing. It's called endorphins. But some people don't like it. Some people really don't like it. And they don't want to do it. And maybe, well, that's not me. I think. Yeah, it's not me. But I know some people, they just don't like it. I've tried to help them with it again and again, and they now it got a thought from somewhere good, a conscience somewhere good. That's that person. That's how they are. They like to work on houses, or do things like do some lawn mowing thing once in a while, or something like that, and blow leaf blower, you know, the things that they do that they like, whoever they happen to be, and they don't want to work out with weights. They think it's stupid or something, or they don't like it, or they I don't know, or they just, people have different ways of doing things that they like to do. And maybe there's a chance that the working out and weightlifting stuff, well, for them, maybe without doing it at all and doing some kind of physical activity, you know, like even an old woman who's 90 something does this sometimes. Instead of sitting too long, or she might stand up or whatever, you know, that's not, but people have their own ways of doing things that they like. Like after I lift it's not me at all, after I lift the really heaviest, it feels like sometimes, or used to feel that way, it feel like it made my chest way more defined than ever, and helped me keep in shape by lifting the really heavy ones. And that was how I got used to staying in that shape and eating the foods that I ate, you know, carefully, of course. It was not easy, and somehow, or, you know, and somehow it felt better about it. But okay, this is a good video about God and Jesus. I'll cover up my face, I'm afraid to look at it. Okay, this is a good video about God and Jesus and stuff. Well, I'm gonna go. Sweet haircut, man. Yeah, it's sweet haircut, man. It looks like something kind of like that, but I don't know. Okay. Actually, I wanted to do something kind of cool to my hair. Kind of cool. I want to do something kind of cool to my hair. I want to do something kind of cool. I thought I'd do something kind of cool to my haircut and cut. And well, I guess I'll just go. You want to leave it weak and small? That's not my way that feels the best. But how Mr. Rogers was the most famous cool person? I don't know. I'm going to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Sent the cats to Danica. Don't leave. I did it on purpose. Try to make a cool sound. I don't. Is this 25? I don't know. I don't want to die. Unless it's not a worry at all. Yep. Who'd do that on someone? Oh, no. No. I don't do that. I'm straight. Who cares? That was a question. Who's watching is the thing. Because I know I'm straight, but I'm not trying to stand up for it at a big, mean political level. You know, that kind of stuff. Doing my cool thing that feels inappropriate right now. Like it's almost too much. Like I'm getting all the glory when there's maybe nobody watching. As ridiculous as that would be inappropriate, you know, because this later might get 100-something views or 200, or by a miracle, if my videos finally take off to a good place, somehow by a miracle, maybe it'll come back and this will get a few thousand when my newer videos are finally making it again, or finally made it there for the first time ever, for how little no one even may know. I feel I've got, well, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. I'm happy however it is. I just don't want to die. I'll do a little bit more. This is on a Smith machine, and it's easier to do heavy weight on a Smith machine. It's a little bit lighter than the free weights on a bench. No, I'm not trying to hump something. I'm trying to move the seat up to get in proper form. It has nothing to do with anything sexual. Despite what someone may pretend that I was trying to actually, who the fuck would do that when they're lifting weights? Ready to have sex? Who? I don't know who would do that. I can't imagine what use that would ever be. I've never done that. You don't use power and might when you're having sex. You're at equal with whoever you're with. Unless you're one of those people who, I don't know how they are, you know. I'm at equal with the woman I'm with, you know? I don't want to act dominant to her like I'm better than her. I don't do that. But I don't know what that stuff even means. You know, if she looks really good, I want to look really good. I don't want to be a big mean ass person who's, you know, it looks gross to me. I don't want to be that way when she's with me. I want to look good if she looks good. So that's my way of doing things. But in nature, I don't even know what kind of sound I'd even make. Fart or something. You gotta cover it up with deodorant. Ah, shit. See, no. Okay. Man, this is just not that great. It's okay. Hey, how you doing? Well, I did something. Some kind of heavy weights to. The other day on here, I did like 340 pounds or 325 pounds or something one time. That was pretty cool. And I thought I'll finally do more when I go back to doing the heavy weights after doing push-ups for a week or two after that. I thought this time I'll go to the heavier, one step heavier, but it was just too much, I think, because I could barely do less this time. But that's not from the push-ups. It's because I haven't had any food all day. It's because I fasted all day. And I shat out everything I ate. I kept taking shits again and again. No, I'm sorry. But for some reason, I don't have the energy that I had earlier when I did 90 push-ups in one set. I don't know what it means. Sometimes fasting is really healthy. And it causes less inflammation. It gets rid of inflammation, and it works better with it. But I don't know about taking craps. That's something different. I shouldn't have said that. But the inflammation goes away oftentimes with fasting, and it works with a high protein diet. When you actually do get to eat, you can eat protein, fruits, vegetables, and some fats, and less carbs, less added sugar. And then you don't want the added sugar anymore when you don't have it. But I've been having a little bit of it, and I've been having a little bit of keto bars. You know, they call them keto, but it's really like a almost processed thing, but not that processed. But they call it keto, but it has some added sugar. So you can have some of it, and it's still, but like, you might eat healthier than I do for all I really don't know, but I eat pretty healthy. And it's more about your soul. It's more about your soul. I know that now. It's more about your soul. When I was younger, I did it on faith alone. I was pretty good. But I sinned a little bit more. I sinned a little bit when I was younger too. I mean, I literally, when I thought I was so innocent and following God and Jesus and never done that bad, I was making faces like, well, Lord, I'm gonna die, and trying, like making these really scary faces that look like, I don't know. And I'm not a woman. I'm gonna get out of here. And then I don't do that. It wasn't that scary ever. It became scarier in my thoughts, the suffering that I had to endure and feel like. And it was just, but it's changed, and it's okay. I still have it pretty good, I guess. You know, it's not, there are these ongoing problems that have not gotten better in 20 years, but and one of them in 10 years. I don't even know how I'd be a tenured professor when I applied like 20 times or more to colleges, and still they didn't hire me to even teach. And now I don't know if I can even do it anymore for how much I had to work at home renovation and stuff that my parents do for 17 years. And I also did the films for like 30 years. since the 90s. So I don't know if I can even be a professor at college, but I think I'd take the job if I got one. If I was actually, but my dad somehow, he had it really good being a professor, and he had to go through stuff that I didn't quite understand to get that job. Like he had to come here, start in Roanoke. Who knows why, but for some reason I haven't been able to get a job. I haven't gotten a job as a teacher, but I have an MFA, and I'm qualified to teach. I've interviewed at, I think, Roanoke College, Virginia Tech, or Radford. Roanoke College, Radford, and Hollins, and they flew me to Boca Raton College to see if I would be able to teach there. And I didn't get any of the jobs teaching. It was like not supposed to, and I worked for my parents instead the entire time. But I did my films and videos too. That made some money too. By a miracle. And I had to try other stuff too, but it didn't make much money. Well, I guess I'm gonna go around and see. Okay. I hope to God that God and Jesus are with you on earth and you do God's work on earth. What would I even do with that? Why would I do any more? I feel like, well, I'm going to go. That's way less than I did the other day. 45, 45, 90, plus 100, 190 plus the bar, 235. The other day I did 325 or 340 or something one time. This time I did 235. Gee, I don't know. So I didn't have as much energy today. I don't know why. I didn't feel like doing it as much today. Generally, that's enough. When you lift heavy weights, you can do it once a week, and that's enough for the really heavy weights to keep the muscle on. Once a week is enough. About once a week. One muscle group a week. Pushing is one. Pulling is another. All the different types of pulling to strengthen your stuff, and legs is the third. Those are the three different major, I think it's called major muscle groups. I don't know. But other people have more difficult problems in strength training, something shallow or not shallow, or I don't know. But it's helpful. It's helpful. But the soul is way infinitely more important. Following God and Jesus. But the body's important too. How could you neglect your body totally until you only work in the soul? You'd go right to heaven. Or, the Bible says you'd go to a casket if it didn't kill you. Or I don't know how you'd live if you're so kind and godly and good that you let the sin just kill your body or something. Or I don't know. I don't understand it too much. But the sin will eventually kill our bodies. But I kind of had a little bit of the wrong idea. Like Al thinks you can be kind and good and feel really good to your body and kind to everybody and everything works out okay. But for me, it felt like when I was really kind and Jesus-like, I was suffering like Jesus a little bit. Nowhere near as difficult as Jesus had it. Jesus had it the most difficult of any human being who's ever lived while on earth. Not like in hell. Hell is unimaginable torment, way worse than even Jesus had to suffer. Way, way worse. I could see when I didn't sleep for 2 weeks. But Jesus suffered the most, had it most difficult. He was without sin through all of it. How could you have that much willpower of the Holy Spirit to endure not sinning at all the entire time he was alive, and then to be tortured and have his body killed on the cross? The breathing, the lack of breathing he endured for like 6 hours or a long time in the cross, with every breath was agonizing and unimaginable. They had to suffer through for us. So he suffered worse than any human being, so that we'd all, our small sins, our sins would be forgiven and we'd have a chance to make it to heaven. But Some people, when they're really mean, they burn in the lake of fire for all eternity. But Jesus is the most beautiful human being he's ever lived. He was without sin, and I'm just some, you know, sinful man. I don't deserve the glory, but I'm not that. You also have to stand. You also have to stand up for yourself too. You don't want to like totally neglect yourself and die or something. But it must say. I know it says stuff about that in the Bible, and I found it before that it's okay to be kind to yourself, and that was amazing to. That was amazing to finally see that it's okay to be kind to yourself. So that's good. It's not always about being kind to others and repenting, and but it's always about being kind to others. You always have to be kind to others. You always have to be kind to others. But I don't see how it would hurt you. You're supposed to forgive others instead of being mean to them. Repent when you know you've really done bad and really feel sorry for what you've done and suffer. That's not the most cool thing to actually feel that way, and I've had to feel that way a bunch. And it's nothing sexual about it, nothing selfish at all anyway. And so I'm gonna go. Okay, this is John Birmingham. Hey. Well, I'm gonna go. Taser. Taser. I gotta get my wife and kids. This is not the other people that I want to go to all the time. Taser was good while she was here. She was kind and good. I'm gonna go. I'd like to be with Danica and the kids. I'm gonna go. Okay, for everyone out there, do God's work on earth. Meaning, believe in God and Jesus. Believe in God and Jesus. Believe Jesus is real. Believe God is real. And more than that, live the way it is shown to us in the Bible by believing in Him, that everything God stands for, everything Jesus stands for is real. And we have to live that way and live as they showed us in the Bible, as God showed us in the Bible, as Jesus showed us in the New Testament. Those ways that they live are how we're supposed to be. And I don't know why a random sexual thought showed up from that, because I'm some regular sinful man who doesn't get all the glory like God and Jesus. God's everywhere, omniscient at all times. And, He knows everything at all times. If there's any, bad stuff, God will protect you from it if you ask. Besides the wicked people who may be too late for them by the time they die, and they'll be in hell for all eternity. But for us, it's okay. God will protect us and keep us safe from the ways that are bad, and we'll be good. We do God's work. We're kind to others. Okay. Bye. Dear God, be with us on earth so we're okay and to do your work. And I hope to God we make it to heaven. I hope we don't have to suffer too much. So, only give us as much as we're able to handle for or do of God's work, for who we are. If we can't do too much of that, if it feels like it's going to kill us, we can't do it. So I hope to God we're okay and do God's work to help us be okay on earth and in heaven for all eternity by our righteous deeds or righteous work. And I hope to God I don't judge anyone again if I judge someone, but you know, sometimes you kind of have a feeling some people are a little sinful, but I still can't judge them. I shouldn't do that. Okay. Bye. Praise God. Praise Jesus. Bye.